A pleasant day, everyone. My name is Anna Guadalquiver, and for today's topic, we will be going to tackle about Chapter 10, the laws regulating restaurants and other tourism-oriented establishments in legal aspects in tourism and hospitality. So for the learning objectives, we have to enumerate the responsibilities of our restaurants or similar establishments, and to identify the laws that govern restaurants, caterers, bars, health and fitness clubs, spas and entertainment outlets, and lastly, cite examples of issues and problems that may arise in restaurants, bars, and other tourism-oriented establishments. So Filipino restaurants, despite their short lifespan, maintain stability due to consistent quality and patronage from generations. Entertainment in the Philippines showcases socioeconomic status, education, and hospitality. Over the past 2 decades, various entertainment outlets have emerged, including karaoke sing-along bars, comedy bars, and ballroom dancing clubs. The 1987 Constitution promotes cultural protection and enrichment, with provision for museums, galleries, restaurants, parks, churches, retail shops, and health clubs. Laws regulate these establishments, supporting artistic and intellectual expression and the evolution of Filipino national culture. So, for the nature and description of the business, we have a restaurant. Restaurant is any establishments offering to the public refreshments or meals. Bars and pubs may also be classified under this generic category. So restaurants should have proper ingress and egress appropriately, designed facades, secure parking, a receptionist, and a waiting lounge. The dining room should be adequate in size with well-maintained furniture, and the restaurants should have a pleasant atmosphere. Good quality cuisine should be served with distinction, meeting minimum government and international standards. A clean menu book, clean tablecloths, and polished silverware are essential. A well-trained staff should be employed, and the bar should be well stocked. Comfort rooms should have good quality fixtures and fittings, and the kitchen, pantry, and cold storage should be in good working condition. Adequate lighting, air conditioning, and firefighting facilities should be provided. Next, we have a department store. It is a store that sells or carries several lines of merchandise and that is organized into separate sections for the purpose of promotion, service, accounting, and control. So next, we have also shop is a small retail establishments offering a line of goods or services. So a shop should be located in a major street or shopping center with attractive entrance and display windows, functional furniture, and air-conditioned facilities. It should also have well-maintained restrooms and public restrooms. So for the department stores, a parking area and directional signs are essential. Staff should be well-groomed, courteous, and efficient. So goods should be clearly priced, and an official receipt should be provided for each purchase. So the business should be responsible for maintaining its facilities and surroundings. So for antique shops, a certificate confirming authenticity should be attached. Next, we have also sports. A sports and recreational club center is an establishment offering sports and recreational facilities to tourists and to the general public. Gyms, clubs, dance studios, theme parks, cinemas, theaters, and concert halls fall under this category. So, these establishments need to adhere to safety and liability regulations such as those related to the operation of sports facilities, equipment, and supervision of activities. They may also need licenses or permits specific to the type of recreational activities offered, such as a license to operate a theme park or cinema. So next, we have museum. A museum is an institutional establishment where a collection of valuable objects and artifacts on history and culture, arts and sciences are put on exhibition for the general public. So museums are subject to regulations related to the preservation and exhibition of cultural heritage, such as a law governing the acquisition, conservation, and display of artifacts. They may also need permits for public assembly and events held on their premises. Next, we have the karaoke bar. A karaoke bar is any establishment offering karaoke and video key facilities to tourists and to the general public. So, karaoke bars need to comply with licensing laws as well as regulations related to noise control and public nuisance. They may also need permits for the use of copyrighted music and performance rights. So next we have the gallery. Gallery is any establishment that has a formal space for exhibitions of paintings, sculptures, prints, photographs, potteries, and mixed media works. So galleries are subject to regulations related to the exhibition and sale of arts, such as laws governing the authenticity and provenance of artworks. So they may also need to comply with zoning and building codes for their physical premises. So next we have tertiary hospital. For medical tourism is an institution that provides clinical care and management as well as specialized and subspecialized forms of treatments, surgical procedures, and intensive care. Medical tourism involves traveling for the purpose of availing healthcare services or treatment of illness and health problems in order to maintain one's health and well-being. So tertiary hospitals catering to medical tourism must adhere to strict healthcare regulations such as those related to medical licensing, patient safety, and data privacy. They may also need to comply with specific regulations for the provision of medical tourism services, such as requirements for accreditation and quality standards. So next we have a spa. A spa is an establishment that has a holistic approach to health and wellness, rest and relaxation that aims to treat the body, mind, and spirit by integrating a range of professionally administered health, wellness, fitness, and beauty, water treatment, and services. So spas are subject to regulations related to the provisions of health and wellness services such as licensing requirements for therapies and the use of certain treatments or equipment. They may also need to comply with health and safety regulations such as those related to the use of water and handling of chemicals. Let's continue to laws governing casinos and gaming establishments. So Section 1, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the state to centralize and integrate all games of chance not heretofore authorized by existing franchises or permitted by law in order to attain the following objectives. So, first, to centralize and integrate the right and authority to operate and conduct games of chance into one corporate entity to be controlled, administered, and supervised by the government. And next, we have to establish and operate clubs and casinos for amusement and recreation, including sports, gaming pools, basketball, football, lotteries, and etc., and such other forms of amusement and recreation, including games of chance, which may be allowed by law within the territorial jurisdiction of the Philippines and which will. So, we have also under the casinos and gaming establishments, we have generate sources of additional revenue to fund infrastructure and socio-civic projects such as flood control programs, beautification, sewerage and sewage projects, tulungan ng bayan centers, nutritional programs, population control, and such other essential public services. We have also create recreation and integrated facilities which will expand and improve the country's existing tourist attraction and minimize, if not totally eradicate, the evils, malpractices, and corruptions that are normally prevalent in the conduct and operation of gambling clubs and casinos without direct government involvement. In Section 2, or Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, Creation and Purpose, to implement state policy and pursue the objectives set forth in the preceding section, there is hereby created a body corporate to be known as a Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. So the key objectives of PAGCOR are to centralize and integrate gambling activities under government control, generate revenue for public projects, expand tourism and recreational facilities, and address the issue of corruption and malpractices in the gambling industry. So PAGCOR is established as a government entity responsible for overseeing and operating these activities. So we have here the Retail Trade Law. The Retail Trade Liberalization Act of 2000 was enacted on March 7, 2000, which specifically repealed Republic Act 1180, otherwise known as the Retail Trade Nationalization Law. So this repeal removed the restriction on foreign ownerships and participation in the retail trade sector in the Philippines. In connection to laws regulating restaurants and other tourism-oriented establishments, the repeal of the Retail Trade Nationalization Law opened up the retail section to foreign investors, including those in the restaurants and tourism-oriented business. So, this allowed for greater foreign investment and participation in establishments and operations of restaurants, hotels, resort, and other tourism-related businesses in the Philippines. As a result, this change in the legislation had a significant impact on the development and expansion of the tourism and hospitality industry in the country, as it enabled more foreign involvement and investment in these sectors. So, by virtue of the Retail Trade Liberalization Act of 2000, the Philippine retail industry is hereby liberalized to encourage Filipino and competitive retail trade sector in the interest of empowering the Filipino consumer through lower prices, higher quality goods, better services, and wider choices. So, this is in line with the policy of the state to promote consumer welfare and attracting, promoting, and welcoming productive investments that will promote tourism and create more jobs. So next, we have here the laws regulating sale of alcohol. So the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended by Republic Act number 9334, December 21, 2004, has imposed excess taxes in the purchase of alcohol. So the excess tax rates shall be based on the classification of alcohol content as provided under the law. So they introduced excess taxes on alcohol purchases based on alcohol content classification. This impacts restaurants and tourism-oriented establishments by influencing cost structures, regulating alcohol consumption, and potentially providing revenue for tourism-related initiatives. So we have the Local Government Code. So under said law, every local government and unit shall exercise the powers expressly granted, those necessarily implied therefrom, as well as powers necessary, appropriate, or incidental for its efficient and effective governance, and those which are essential to the promotion of the general welfare. Local government units shall ensure promotion of health and safety and maintenance of peace and order within the respective territorial jurisdiction. So this means that local government units have the power to enact and enforce law and regulations pertaining to restaurants and tourism-oriented establishments. They can establish guidelines for food safety and sanitation, zoning regulations for the establishments of tourism-related businesses, and enforce measures to maintain peace and order in tourist areas. So the Local Government Code empowers local government units to take proactive steps in promoting the well-being of their constituents and visitors, ensuring that restaurants and tourism-oriented establishments operate in a manner that is safe, orderly, and conducive to the overall welfare of the community. So next topic, we're going to proceed to laws regulating churches, monuments, national shrines, landmarks, and other important historic edifices. So, by virtue of Presidential Decree number 260, August 1, 1973, the following has been declared national shrines, monument, and landmarks. So first, the Santa Ana Site Museum in Manila, the Roman Catholic Churches of Puay and Bacara in Ilocos Norte, the San Agustin Church and liturgical objects therein Intramuros in Manila. So fourth, we have Fort Pilar in Zamboanga City. Fifth, the petroglyphs of the rock shelter in Angono, Rizal. Number 6, we have the petroglyphs of Ala Bonto. Number 7, we have the stone agricultural calendars of Dapay, Giday in Bisao, Bontok. Number 8, we have the mummy caves of Kabayan, Benguet, Sagada, and Ala Bontok. Number 9, we have the Ifugao rice terraces of Manawe as national cultural treasures. Number 10, we have the Baraswan Church in Malolos, Bulacan. Number 11, we have Tirad Pass in Cervantes, Ilocos Sur. Number 12, we have the Miagao Church in Miagao, Iloilo. Number 13, the site of the Battle of Mactan on Mactan Island, Cebu. Number 14, the San Sebastian Church in Quiapo, Manila. And 15, the Church and Convent of Santo Niño in Cebu City. So it provides protection and preservation measures to ensure their cultural, historical, and architectural integrity. These laws aim to safeguard the cultural heritage of these sites, preventing unauthorized alterations, destructions, or removal of important artifacts and structures. They also facilitate the implementation of conservation and restoration efforts to maintain the authenticity and significance of this place. So additionally, the designation of these sites as national treasures emphasizes their importance in representing Philippine history, culture, and identity. It promotes tourism and cultural appreciation, attracting visitors and researchers who wish to explore and learn about the country's rich heritage. So next, we have the vandalism or malicious mischief. So Article 327, who are liable for malicious mischief, any person who shall deliberately cause to the property of another any damage shall be guilty of malicious mischief. So for instance, an individual intentionally vandalizes a car by keying the paint or smashing the windows. So next article, we have Article 328, Special Cases of Malicious Mischief. Any person who shall cause damage to the National Museum or National Library or to any archive or registry shall be punished. So for example, a person who deliberately damages a rare artifacts in the National Museum or sets fire to documents in the National Library would be liable under this provision. So next article, we have Article 331, destroying or damaging statues, public monuments, or paintings. Any person who shall destroy or damage statues or any other useful or ornamental public monument shall suffer the penalty. So for example, if someone destroys a public statue or defaces a historical monument, like for example the Blood Compact Shrine, they would be subject to the penalties outlined in this article. So next topic, we have poisoning. So Article 264, administering injurious substances or beverages. The penalties established by the next preceding articles, serious physical injuries, shall be applicable in the respective cases to any person who, without intent to kill, shall inflict upon another any serious physical injury by knowingly administering to him any injurious substances or beverages, or by taking advantage of his weakness of mind and credulity. Like for example sa case ni way back ni Christine Dacera, which involves poisoning by putting illegal drugs in her drink while partying, causing her to death. And according to Police General Dibold Senas, PNP chief had asserted in a press briefing that he believes her death was a rape slave but wala pa na prove. So that's the topic about the article 264. So next article, we have article 265. Less serious physical injuries. Any person who shall inflict upon another physical injuries not described in the preceding articles, but which shall incapacitate the offended party for labor for 10 days or more, or shall require medical attendance for the same period. So for instance, a severe beating that requires hospitalization and recovery time exceeding 10 days. Next article, we have 266, slight physical injuries and maltreatment. So for example, a good example for this would be if a caregiver physically abuses an elderly person under their care, resulting in minor injuries like bruises or scratches. So this could also include cases of physical altercations that cause slight injuries but do not require extensive medical treatment. So last topic, we have the thief. So Article 308, who are liable for theft. Theft is committed by any person who, with intent to gain but without violence against or intimidations of persons, nor force upon things, shall take personal property of another without the latter's consent. So like, if someone enters a store and takes a product without paying for it, intending to keep it for themselves, this would be considered theft because the individual took personal property belonging to another without their consent. So next article, we have Article 310, qualified theft. So the crime of theft shall be punished by the penalties next higher by 2 degrees if committed with grave abuse of confidence. Like for example, an employee who steals from their company's funds entrusted to them, or a financial advisor who embezzles their clients' investments. In such cases, the penalty for the theft is increased by 2 degrees due to the grave abuse of confidence committed by the offender. So next article, we have Article 311, theft of the property of the National Library and National Museum. If the property stolen be any property of the National Library or the National Museum, the penalty shall be arresto mayor or a fine, unless a higher penalty should be provided under other provisions of this code, in which case the offender shall be punished by such higher penalty. So if someone steals an artifact from the National Museum or a rare book from the National Library, they would be liable under this provision. So that would be all of my topic. Thank you for listening.